Alrighty, just a quick one. Spent the last week of my life trying to improve the ray casting. Found a couple of weird bugs, and that's led to a whole bunch of frustrating times for me during this week. I'm trying to watch this through the camera and stuff. Net result is after a frustrating week, I think I've got the caster working better. And this demo runs about, a good 10 frames per second on average with characters, etc. in the world, so that's good. And we don't have as many ray misses as what we had before. Now, in this example, we didn't really see that many, which would give wall errors and all kinds of weird stuff. I'll get out of this. Go back to here. Look at the other example. Put the backdrop back in so we can see what I'm talking about. Excuse me. Right. So what I've got is just an overhead view of the RayIntersectWorld stuff. What was happening is that certain rays would leak through walls. Now, I'm not saying that's solved absolute. It turns out that's quite tricky to solve. Very frustrating. But I ran into some bugs with the world stuff, and that's what's spawned this kind of update. Yeah, if you go inside a shape, the walls are only one direction, so that once you're behind the wall, it doesn't intersect anymore, so that's fine. There are just times where it would slip through. Now, what I've actually done is I've improved how a ray is traversed across the map, because the world is actually a map underneath this system. That's what's happening. So we're using I've kind of made a common library for doing this kind of process. I'll use the same thing throughout other places. I thought initially that would be a good win, actually, a nice little speed boost, and then turned out that no, there's a bunch of situations where we get leaks and we get things we don't want, and so it was faster, but it would leak all the time, and the other demos didn't work properly. And so at one point I was going to just give up on it and revert back to what we had before, which works, but there's a very small percentage chance of things leaking as well. So I don't think I can get this 100%, to be honest. And that seems to be how this kind of stuff goes, is that the more accurate you want it, the slower it gets. And we kind of want to toe that line between it being pretty fast and being pretty accurate. Errors we can sort of cope with. Anyway, what it does now is that each ray traces the map through the tiles levels a bit better than what it used to, so it avoids some overlap of tiles. There's a few situations where you have to scan more than one tile even though you're passing through it, because there's a brief chance of underneath its floating point, so there's a chance that you might get rounded up or down, and then what would happen, very occasionally you would miss walls. But that seems to have been solved now. That's all I wanted to say. I found some other bugs with worlds too. We'll try and fix those while I'm messing around with it. But I'm pretty happy with this, and we'll be able to use some of the code from this in the mapping library. So it'll give us another series of little speed ups to the overall performance. Alright dudes, that's enough. I'll see you next time. Bye. Sorry about the camera. handheld camera thing too. Just very quick and easy. That's all.